right, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday. It's been a wonderful day here in Austin, Texas. I want to thank you all for taking time on your Sunday to join me on the Sunday edition of the Monday Note. Hi, Jack. Good to see you. Bob, I like my music. If you don't like it, you don't have to tune in. Also, I go 3 minutes late because people log in, so I get tired of people asking me questions. So if you don't, you can leave 3 minutes late if you want. Go get you a cup of coffee. But we're on time, so I can either start right at 5 o'clock and get interrupted by people calling in late, or I can just do it at 3 minutes after, which is what turns out to be good. So that's what I do. I will tell you, I am fired up this evening, everybody. This is obviously a hot topic. We actually added more phone lines for tonight's webinar. A lot of people struggle with raising capital, and we'll get into that in a second here. I'm going to ask you all to keep your questions relevant and on task or where we're at. Yes, there will be plenty of time for you guys to ask questions later in, but if it's something relevant to exactly what I'm mentioning, feel free to ask the question. If it's something regarding a deal or something later on, please don't ask it because it's just going to throw us off track on this stuff. So I don't want to be here all night with you guys, but I do want to give you very relevant content, which I believe that's what you guys are here for. So let's dive into it. What do you say? Get rocking and rolling along here. So as always, there's always a group of people that are on the call. Some we have some new, some that are seasoned. We have real estate investors. We've got note investors. We got people interested in investing that have come across my information or the webinar invite and the different meetups and social media that we use to distribute the different links. They are recorded. So I highly encourage you to log in to Vimeo or go to vimeo.com/WeCloseNotes. It's where we host all our recorded phone calls and webinars. If you are subscribed to my page on there, you will be alerted of when I upload anything new. And if you don't like waiting 3 minutes for everybody else, that's fine. Just log off and you can get an email when it gets uploaded there. But subscribe. You can also download that, put that in your own playlists. It's a little bit different than YouTube. We will be having a new YouTube channel coming up here before too long in the next few weeks as well. I do ask you guys to connect with me on social media. We do a lot of different things online, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Google+, Vimeo, or Pinterest. It's definitely important for you guys to be connected with me because you'll see different things that are going on. And oftentimes, we'll throw different specials on there. Ron, yep, Ron just subscribed to me on Vimeo. Way to go, Ron. I'm going to be sending you an email this week on a couple of those deals as well, Ron, we talked about a couple weeks ago. So let's see here. The audio is tingy sounding. Maybe you should turn the volume down. I'll pull the mic away from my mouth a little bit by having my headset on here. Hopefully that helps out there with that, Steven. You're right. All right. So let's see here. I do have an upcoming workshop in Chicago in a couple weeks. April 23rd through the 28th. It's a 4-day workshop. The 23rd through the 28th. It's a Thursday through Sunday workshop. We'll have close to 100 note investors in Chicago for the 4-day Note Buying for Dummies. As always, if you've taken my course in the past, you're more than welcome to repeat for free. Just email me. Any past or present military personnel or even first responders with police, fire, or rescue are also comped in as well. Past or present military, and any current first responders, firefighters, police officers, EMS, you guys are comped into the workshop. Just have to email me at Scott@WeCloseNotes to get your comp seat. Otherwise, you can register for your seat at WeCloseNotes.com. All right? All right. Steven, I don't know what your problems are. I think everybody's got audio. Yeah, exactly. Christina's got it here. All right. Move on here. Oh, also, we do have the upcoming Noteworthy East Note Summit, Note Convention coming up in April, and just a few weeks away. 3 weeks away from the Noteworthy Summit, everybody. This is going to be an awesome event. I am excited. We've got some surprises up my sleeves for everybody that's coming. We've got an all-star lineup of speakers. We're focused on content. Yes, there will be some sales there, but over half the speakers there are going to be content-oriented, just pure content. And even the people offering a workshop will have a full content session, not allowed sales. If they try to sell sales in their content session, I will pull their ass off the stage and send their ass home. we feel very strongly on that. Jack's giving me the green light to do some things, which I'm excited about. It's $249 per person right now, everybody, for your ticket there in Newark. There are hotel rooms available, but you can register at bit.li/Noteworthy East. I would go there, register, because it will be a sellout. Lots of great things going on. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then on the Monday, we're going to actually bring in a note auction, and those investors that are there and register for the event will get first access to those deals that will be made available live for everybody that's still there at the Note Summit. Any questions about the upcoming Noteworthy East Note Summit? Chad, glad to see you. You'll be there, Chad. If you have not bought your tickets, now is the time to do it, because we'll be doing some things as we get closer for those that already RSVP'd for it. All right? So go to bit.li Noteworthy East to register. It's the easiest form for you to register. Okay? All right. We'll move on from there. Oops, a little bit more. Sorry, April 10th to the 13th of the dates. It's actually a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, not a Thursday. I need to change that. 3 condos to the live room blocks. Go to bit. Anyway, there we go. Hotel. As always, you may want to, if you're on the call here, you may want to take a second to go log into your LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn account, and find the Note Closers group on LinkedIn. That's an open sharing forum for everybody if they have questions or ideas or comments or deals they want to post. We highly recommend. There is no cost to join that group on LinkedIn. It's just a good, strong, growing group for everybody. All right, so let's dive into the Monday Note Sunday edition. Definitely, this is a really strong topic, and I'm always amazed at the amount of people that register. It tells me, it shows me where there is a huge niche in the market that's missing. People just really miss out on doing things. All right? Mike, turn your volume up, buddy. Everybody's got audio fine. If you're having problems, it's probably with you, because everybody's hearing my audio fine here, everybody. All right. So, we all want to fish in a river of private money, right, everybody? Okay? Yeah, I know, Lloyd. Not everybody is technically savvy in turning their volume up on their computer. One of my favorite movies is A River Runs Through It. All right? You guys probably remember that one with, who's it? Brad Pitt's one of the main actors in it. All right? And the guy off of Top Gun, what's his name? The older guy plays his father. But it's a great movie about fishing and actually family more than anything else. But the thing that brings everybody together is they're fishing. And there's some tools and tricks of the trade, what we do, because that's what we're all as investors doing. We're out there fishing. We're fishing for deals, and if you've got the money yourself, great. Great, you do the deal. You close on it, you move on. But most people don't have a wealth of money behind them to begin with, and so they've got to go out and try to fish to get investors to buy their deals. And so I love this photo. I thought it was a really good analogy between the two to begin with. But what happens, a lot of investors, they want to go jump in this river of private investors that are out there, but they don't bring a pole, they don't bring any bait. They just jump in and expect they're going to grab fish with their bare hands and get things done, and that's not the case at all. Okay? Yeah, thank you, Joel. Tom Skerritt, exactly, from Top Gun. He plays the father aspect of that, the wise father. So what you have to keep in mind is, what are investors out there? What investors are there for you to fish in? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know any investors. I don't know any private investors. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You don't know anything else either. So let's talk about where is other people's money. Where does it lie at? And in the invitation I sent out, there was a link to an article that I want to recap here briefly for you. It was an interesting article because it talked about that there were literally over now 10 million millionaires out there. That was their net worth was over $1 million. And in the last few years, this is 2014, that list grew by 500,000 people. There's 500,000 people out there that now their net worth is over $1 million, which is pretty cool, right? Now, they've also says that there is a larger river or larger pool of investors, 29.5 million people out there with a net worth between 100K and 1 million. Think about that for a second. 29.5 million households with net worth between 100K and 1 million. Now, obviously, we all know that most of the time people have a house. That's their biggest investment to begin with in life. I think we can all agree to that. But that doesn't mean net worth. As we see here, net worth means, A, it's a positive balance. They have more assets than they have liabilities. So maybe it is a house that's got some equity to it. All right? Can they tap into it? Yes, I know. Maybe they got some investments, okay? But that's a huge pool of people, right? Now, if you break the numbers down a little bit more, there's 8.79 million millionaire households out there with a net worth from 1 million to 5 million, all right? And there is 1.168 million people with net worth between 5 million and 25 million, right? Okay? So the idea is, where do you fish for the investors? Do you go after these people that have the 5 million to 25 million or the 1 to 5 million? And I would say no. You don't go after those types of individuals. Yes, okay, yes, they've got money, but there is a much larger pool of investors out there, millionaires, actually almost 3 times the amount of pool of people between $100K and $1 million with net worth. Some of it's going to be liquid, yes, and some of it's not. But this is the biggest underserved clientele out there as far as investors. Now, I'm going to take you back to something here. All right? This is the pool that you're going to see most of your investors at. Okay? When I was a banker, and this goes back, a banker and a financial advisor, people are always like, oh, you got to hit a whale. You got to find your whales out there. And trust me, whales are getting pitched by investors and financial advisors and people all day long. All right? They've got their CPAs. They're the financially savvy. That's why they've got $1 million plus, or especially 5 million plus. They don't need you. They're savvy. All right? They understand. And don't get me wrong, yes, if they're doing some specific things, like maybe they make their money outside of real estate, maybe they do want to dive into real estate. Maybe they don't like what they're doing. And that's okay. You'll run into some of those. But for the most part, the people we're going to deal with as real estate investors falls into this 100K plus net worth market. Now, that's not an affluent client. All right? It doesn't fall under the affluent status at the SEC basis, but it's pretty close. You especially get somebody that's over 100 grand in net worth, they got to do some work the last few years. Either got to make good money, or they had some luck with trading investments or being active in that aspect. And that's the market that's largely underserved. Nobody wants to, no financial advisor, no bank is really going to want to take on a client that's got 100 grand investment. Don't get me wrong. They're going to like them, but they're not going to make that much off them. All right? And what you also run into a lot of times, people that have this net worth aren't paying for financial advisors, aren't paying for CPAs. They're doing a lot of stuff themselves. They're entrepreneurs. They're business owners. They're so busy chasing their buck or trying to keep their business up and running, they don't have the financial expertise in their back pocket. Does that make sense, everybody? I hope it does. And I'm just telling you, as a banker, that's what they told. Oh, you need to go after this. I was always like, listen, I get people walking in my branch every day when I was a banker that got 10 grand or 20 grand or 30 grand. Let me take care of those clients. I would gladly help those clients, and I would take care of those people, and those people would move money over. They would refer their clients. That's the group that's not afraid to refer other people out. They're like, oh, hey, you need to go meet my banker. He took some time, told me about a Roth IRA, shared some money on investment stuff, or helped me move my CDs and something that's actually making money instead of being a certificate of disappointment, and it actually worked for me. And they'll talk, you got to talk to my buddy. Talk to my buddy Scott down at Chase, or talk to my buddy Scott down there. He'll take good care of you. And that's what you all guys and gals on the call ultimately want, right? You want people that are going to talk highly about you, that need your help, okay? These people that have more than $1 million or 5 million plus, they don't need your help. They're busy enough as it is, all right? Ideally, what's funny is you're going to run into people, most of the time that you're buying notes, for those that are invested in notes on the call, most of the clients you're going to run into, the people that you're buying their mortgages, most of the people that are the borrowers are going to fall in this category as well, if not less, especially less than 100K, all right? So let's talk about that. So what's the opportunity? Well, as we can all agree, I'm just going to flip through here so I don't get sidetracked. We live in a huge, huge financially uneducated society, all right? For the 260 some odd people that registered for the call, 270 now, you guys have more financial education than most people out there. Now, what you do with that education is a different story. All right? For those that take workshops and constantly going from workshop to workshop to workshop that don't do anything with it, it's unfortunate because you guys are probably some of the smartest people out there, but you lack a, what's the word I'm going to say here? Not a drive, because it does take some drive to go to these things constantly. You lack a confidence level of actually pulling the trigger and doing something, of sitting down and yourself and actually focus on things. Maybe you all have shiny object syndrome, as I said, or squirrel syndrome. Squirrels everywhere, I can run. You have to be a little bit more focused on things. So anyway, before I get into that, with what's happened in the past, you see a lot of economists talk about how people are scared to buy houses right now, especially the younger crowd. Under 30s, very scared to buy houses. They don't want to invest in a home, buy a home, because they're afraid something's going to happen to them again. And honestly, we are in a bubble. You talk about some of the economic factors that we see out there, like Mark Cuban was talking about how we are in a tech bubble. I really believe parts of the country are in a bubble still. California is one of those right now. The value's been climbing. There's no job growth being coming. There's really no increase in GDP going on out there. It's all based on speculation. And what's driving that market? Investors. Lack of inventory increases demand. When you have houses selling above what the appraised value is, that's not a good thing. All right? Especially when you start looking at things where most people, 85% of the population is one missed paycheck away from being in default. All right? One missed paycheck, all right, from being in default. That's still a very scary animal, all right? Now, most people get their financial education from their bank, or a little bit that they're getting, all right? And the banks out there, and I speak as an ex-banker, most banks have the people they come into their banks, their clients, brainwashed as far as what ROIs are. Think about that for a second. They teach people traditional investing, and this, as a financial advisor, when I was learning about mutual funds and going through my Series 6, 63, and Series 7 training, they talk about, hey, a 0 to 4% is a very safe return on investment. Okay? What's a 0 to 4% return? Well, that's going to be certificate of deposit, some really low money market fund, right? And then if you go from like 4 to 8, that's going to be kind of like a bond fund, maybe some low growth mutual funds, that kind of stuff. And then anything from 8 to 12 was considered risky, especially 12% or greater. All right? Well, I know most of you guys that are actual real estate investors, you don't get excited about 12%. All right? Or anything below 12%. 12% is kind of the threshold where people really start getting interested. The reason we do real estate is we want to make a high return on investment. Okay? If you're making 4% on your money, some of you guys are familiar with the number 72. All you do, if you want to figure out a real quick trick on how fast your money is going to double, take the interest rate and divide that by 72. All right? So if you're getting a 7% return, it will take almost 10 years for your money to double. All right? If you're getting a 4% ROI, all right, that'll take 18 years for your money to double. All right? 12 years, if you're getting a 12% return, 6 years for your money to double. 24% return, 3 years for your money to double. Okay? That's what you have to keep in mind. Most people don't understand that. They think, 8% is not bad at all. That's really good. Well, if you start calculating how long it's going to take for your money to double to get out of the rat race, it gets upsetting. Now, one of the big things that when you're dealing in the note business, most traditional investors, people that are used to investing in mutual funds, that 100K plus net worth, when they think about mortgages, they think about 30 years. Okay? I got to tie my money up for 30 years? Oh, gosh, that's scary. I don't want to do that. 30 years? That just seems way too long. Now, they like the fact of them buying a house and having a mortgage for 30 years because they can spread that debt out in their budget mindset. I was talking with a friend yesterday about ROI and their interest rate, and they've got a Kia Soul. And I'm like, what's your monthly payments? They're like, it's almost $300. I'm like, well, you should have it sold off by now. She's like, no, I got another 2 years. I'm like, how long did you finance it? She was 6 years. I'm like, what? Eesh. Híjole. That's, eesh. Did you even fight for an interest rate? And I just walked in and he told me what I could qualify for, what it was, and that's what I got. And I'm like, eesh, that car is not worth what you owe on it now. All right? That's a bad investment. All right? Now, with what we do on the note side, we're usually seeing greater than a 12% return. I'm usually seeing greater than a 20% return. I get excited about that, right? But it's not 30 years. If you start looking at statistics, yes, most people take out a 30-year mortgage, some a 40, even some rare SAPs took out a 50-year mortgage. Most people are moving every 7 to 8 years. In some situations, they're moving every couple of years. So keep that in mind. The 30 years, while that's just financed out, but that is basically the perspective of what most people think. All right? Most people will move, though, after 7 to 8 years, and that's something to keep in mind. All right? We often find, too, that most people that are starting to make some money, they've got that 100K plus net worth, they maybe have taken a workshop or they may have gone to one or two things, but they're most of the time, they're either too scared or too busy to actually pull the trigger by themselves. All right? And that's the biggest thing. You want to know somebody that's motivated, that's got some money to invest, you want to work with a motivated. You do not want to work with a desperate. All right? This is why when I teach a workshop and I'm telling people, do not work with somebody who's got their last 5 or 10 grand. If that's their only 5 or 10 grand, do not work with them. They will drive you batty. All right? They will drive you bonkers with questions, and then the market's changed. The value of the house went up by $500, or it went down by $1,000. All right? We're talking you want to be in something that's a longer-term kind of play for everybody. Okay? So you want to work with the motivated, not the desperate. All right? I can't stress it enough. So how do you work with these ideal clients? Well, that's kind of what we're getting into. All right? A lot of investors, and I deal with this, especially in my mentoring group, people want to do the deal. You know, they put the cart before the horse. All right? They want to look for the deal. Or they want to raise capital before they do the deal. Yeah, they want to do deals, but I got to raise capital before I ever go out and do the deal. And they never put the things in place. They're constantly talking to people about private money, but they're not pulling the trigger on a deal. And that's the worst thing they could do. Please keep the questions relevant to what we're talking about. Okay? Just ask that question later on. All right? Good deals will find money. This is what most people struggle with. If they've never bought a deal before, they're invested, they have a hard time believing that a screaming deal will raise money. All right? If I could show somebody 20% ROI on their money and I'm going to get 20% on my side, which is what we look to do, they're going to be happy. Right? They're going to be outstandingly happy with you. All right? So you go out and find the deals that yield that kind of stuff and work through the numbers to show people that. But what happens, most investors don't work on themselves first. They don't work on putting the investment in themselves to make them look professional. So they shoot themselves in the foot by going out and trying to pull money together and try to market deals. But if I asked them to buy something from themselves, if they looked at what they put out, would you buy from this individual? If it was your decision, would you buy from you? Would you invest with you? And the overwhelming answer is no. You can't sit around. If you have no experience, you can't around and expect to show experience or have somebody invest in your experience when you have no experience. All right? And I mean by that, experience as far as showing. I'm not talking about deals here. I'm talking about showing experience. You probably have heard a lot about people walking the walk or talking the talk but not walking the walk. In Texas, we have a saying called all hat, no cattle. Oh, that person's all hat, no cattle. And that's not what I'm talking about. All right? It's not what I'm talking about. We all have to start somewhere, all right? We all have to start somewhere completely to get things done. And honestly, what I find in this business more successful is people that don't have the money are more successful than those that actually have had some money or a little bit of money stock aside. Because they start zero. People that have a little bit of money or have saved some money, are getting new investment, they struggle with this more than anything else. All right? They've got this golden spoon, and I don't mean a bad thing by that. I'll get that in a second here. Okay? They just don't have a plan. And you've got to set together a plan. You can't be a wild gunslinger out there just shooting away trying to make things happen, because you're going to end up, A, burning bridges, and you're going to end up not finding any deals. You're going to not use, you're going to have no experience, all right? No team, all right? You're going to burn all your bridges before you ever get a chance to cross it, all right? If you're trying to raise capital from people that you know that have money, but you have nothing to show them, no deals you've either worked through or none of this stuff, they're not going to invest with you. Would you go invest with a guy selling a mutual fund on the side of the road with a cardboard sign? Hell no, you wouldn't, right? We'll work for investment money. But unfortunately, that's what most of you guys are doing. If you think about it, those aren't successful. You guys are operating a business with no signage, no phone number, no advertising. How do you ever expect to be successful? Look, Al, look, everybody, if you're not asking a question about what I'm talking about right now, save your freaking questions till the end. I'm serious. Save your questions till the end, all right? There's plenty of time for that. I'm not going to get into talking ROI do I offer to clients. That's ridiculous. We're not talking about ROI right now, all right? Just stay on task with me, please, all right? Because you're going to miss something. For those of you that are all worried about ROI and what I got to offer and am I going to make that or am I going to, screw it. Just shut the voices off in your head and start listening to me, all right? Quit worrying about that crap. It will cover itself in a minute. You let the deals dictate. What would you invest in? What kind of deals would you do? All right? If it's not going to be a good return, ROI is the last thing you got to worry about. All right? Because people are going to invest with you if you've got some of the things covered. And yes, I am fired up. I knew I was going to be fired up about this because I see these questions over and over again. And I'm just like, I've answered this a million times. But people don't listen. You've got some of you people out there have the worst case of stinking thinking I've ever seen. You won't listen to somebody tell you exactly what you want to do. You think you know best, but you're not in a position to know best because you're not where you want to be. And if you're not where you want to be, just listen. Stop coming up with excuses why you shouldn't fail and start identifying reasons why you need to succeed. All right? Okay? No, this what I'm talking about is going to be talking about, it's just raising capital, not just for notes, for anything, any type of real estate investment, okay? I don't need just a digital ruler. I need a ruler just to freaking do something. All right. Hang on, here's some questions. Yeah, Jim, I'll get that. No problem, Ann. No problem, Jim. I have no idea what you mean by your question, Oscar. All right? So just save it for the second. All right. So most people don't put a plan together. They don't work through any deals. They don't work through the numbers. Yeah, a lot of us have no experience, but we don't align ourselves with people with experience, or we don't try to strengthen our relationships with other people with experience that will help us. Okay? And last, and most of us try to do everything ourselves, and so we get bogged down with the last success. That's why we burn the bridge, because we set ourselves up to fail on the very beginning. Okay? So how do we fix that? Well, when the investors that you're talking to want to work with committed investors, people that are doing specifically one thing. All right? They're investing. All right? And I'm not talking about jack of all trades. Some of us are out there, and I say this as a voice of experience back in 2000, from 2004 to 2008, I was kind of a jack of all trades. I was doing a lot of variety of different things. Yes, I was working for somebody and making some money doing deals, and I was doing some rehabs and some short sales and wholesaling and doing some subject to deals. And I was doing good. I was making money. I was surviving, but that's about all I was doing, was surviving. I wasn't building really any wealth. To the point when the market changed, hiccuped here in Austin, I was out in the cold. All right? So what I want you to think about is, what can you talk about? What can you walk and talk as an expert about? All right? But you have to show this image beforehand. All right? And I'm not going to say go out and buy a $5,000 suit or a $1,000 suit. You have an image that you have to think about. All right? And you've got to invest in your business on the front end if you're ever going to be successful in the back end. So let's think about what your competition is. All right? What's your competition? How are they showing themselves? All right? Because that's ultimately what you have to look at. What's the image that your company? If you're going to go out there and try to sell, be a financial advisor, and I say this as I was when I first got into finances before I worked for Chase, I learned finances and basic like rules of 72 from a company called Primerica Financial Services. Some of you guys are familiar with Primerica PFS. I used to be a division of Citigroup, and I was pretty successful. I wasn't near as successful as what I was because I was still working full time for some out of college. But I started that, and I became one the first time. But one of the biggest things, as I saw that, as I was getting my license, is that people. One of the biggest things was, yes, they try to recruit people, which is not, I mean, every organization tries to recruit people, but it was more of a multi-level thing, right? That wasn't near as bad as Amway or Herbalife or other things like that. And I don't mean anything negative against those. There's plenty of good products and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to get at is, do you want to work for a company where do you want to have the person investing your money be the person that changed your oil in the morning or the person that mowed your lawn? You don't want to invest with those people. You want to invest with professionals. So, I was with Primerica for a while. I learned plenty of good things. I made money on it, but ultimately I was not set up to succeed because my game wasn't up enough. So when you start looking at people, Scott, why would I roll my money over from A.G. Edwards or Charles Schwab to you? All right. What makes, why am I going to change my insurance policies? Why am I going to do a loan with you? All right. I had to up my game. We all have to up our games on things. So it's, literally, you have to act like a business. A lot of people don't put things in their business. So they don't have a website, all right? You don't have to have a fancy office. You can office at Starbucks like a lot of entrepreneurs do, or executive suites office or something like that, all right? Most people don't. This is where most people just fall down on that right there, social media. In your website, you could get away without having a website if you've got good social media. And most of the social media out there, everybody, is zero. Costs you nothing. It's very free to do. Okay? You got to know what your mission statement is. If you don't have a mission statement of what you're really trying to focus on, you're not going to succeed. This leads into helping you build your business plan. All right? And you got to spend some time focused on this. During my 8-week mentoring program, and this is not a pitch for my mentoring program by any means. We have focused people, try to get people to focus on their business plans. And I have it's agonizing when people won't spend time on the front of their business plan. They want to look at deals. Let me look at deals. But I'm like, what deals are you going to look at when you don't have any plan of action? You don't know what you're going to focus on. You don't know what your exit strategy is. What's your target? All right? You may be investing in a shitty deal because you have no focus. All right? You don't look professional. How are you going to be able to get the word out on what you're doing when you look like shit? Pardon my French. Or you look like butt. You look like your website, your social media is hodgepodge together. You're spending time on Farmville or whatever these other games are and not focused on your business. All right? You have to start thinking, what image are you really starting to portray? And yeah, I talked about helping you build your brand and 50 ways to market yourself a few weeks ago on the previous Monday notes. A lot of us don't take it into consideration. Oh, I'm wearing a wrinkled shirt to an investor meeting, or it's got a stain on my shirt. That's not professional. I'm not talking about wearing a nice suit. Godly. I've worn 2 suits in the last, I wore 2 suits to Noteworthy in Vegas. I will not be wearing a suit, especially I'll be wearing my jeans and my boots. That's my image. I went yesterday to look at suits and I cracked up because of the way I'm built. Yeah, I'm a big guy, but it was funny. I've got these huge 19-inch calves. I mean, seriously, my calves are as big as my neck. So I'm walking in. You try to find a pair of dress pants that fit. So, like, literally, for me to fit in a pair of dress pants that would fit comfortably on my thighs and my calves, it was like a 44, 46 waist, which is, I wear like a 36, 38-inch waist. That stuff doesn't fit properly. That's falling off of me. But I can't go to a 38-inch waist because my thighs My calves won't fit in the suit. So I laughed. I'm like, I'm just going to have to go with my jeans. I'm going to have to go with what God gave me. God built me one specific way. That's great. And I use that to help me build my brand. I like my jeans. I like my expensive boots. I like my gator boots I got back in from being resold yesterday. They're comfortable, but they also, that's my image. I'll wear, my brand is that. I'm fine. I'm from Texas. I'm going to wear a nice shirt, good pair of jeans, and some comfortable boots. It's become an image for me. That's become build my brand. You all have a different brand. You don't have to wear a suit, okay? Sometimes I actually think wearing a suit makes people a little untrustworthy sometimes. All right? Yes, you can look good, and I'm nothing against anybody wearing suits, and sometimes it's called for. If I worked on Wall Street, I'd be a little stuck chuck having to wear a suit every day, all right? Whatever that look is for what you're trying to portray, make it look good, all right? I want to not only, not trying to be off topic here, but a lot of us are like running around, and when I'm home, I wear, I'm in shorts right now, flip-flops, and a T-shirt, and it's a weekend. I'm having fun, all right? It's completely fine. But I got a buddy on the West Coast. He wears flip-flops in the office all the time, and that's okay, it's part of the time. But hey, man, come on! If you got people coming in there meeting with the investors, look a little bit better. Put on a different shirt. He dresses up fine when he wants to. But you have to up your game. And I'm not just talking professional look on your clothing. What do you put out? What are your posts? What's your social media? What's your website look? What flyers do you have? What emails do you send out? Okay? All right? Because that all helps. If you take that to a different level, it will help you. Plus, the vendors will help you as well. A lot of your vendors can help you out with that, but they don't want to send something out when you look like, but they want to deal with professionals. Vendors really want to make you successful. Because the more business you do, the more business you're going to send them, right? It's a very, I was going to say congruent, but that's not the right word. It's a good relationship, symbiotic relationship. You do well, your vendors are going to do well because they're going to get more business, and your vendors want to help you, okay? But if you don't have what you're looking for here, as far as what you're focused on, and a sole focus on things, you're going to waste your time, and you're never going to be able to find investors to help you fund deals. Okay? Hopefully that's making sense. All right. A lot of us are out doing a million different things, and we just aren't focused in nature. We're completely just buzzy, all right? Because we're not helping express our passions. And no matter what business you're in, it may be you like fix and flips. If you're passionate about fix and flips, great. Go do fix and flips. If you're passionate about notes, go do notes. If you're passionate about first, stick to first. If you're passionate about seconds, do seconds. There's no right or wrong answer there. The only wrong answer is when you're trying to do 5, 6, 12 different things. Okay? Be passionate about one thing. I'm very passionate about buying non-performing first liens. That's what I focus on. I don't buy seconds. I have bought some seconds, but they were behind my firsts. Right? I am very focused. My vendors know my focus. That's my passion. All right? I'm focused on that. I'm closing on a couple deals Monday and Tuesday that are my passion because it's right in my wheelhouse. My vendors help me with that because they actually will find deals that fall in line with my passion. They know what I'm focused on, and when they see something that falls in it, I'm the first phone call they make. You all can be that exact same way with the people that surround you, the people you work with, okay? A lot of us will mortgage our future by doing something today to put a buck on the table, all right? Some of us will take a quick $1,000, $2,000 wholesale deal to put $2,000 in our pocket versus taking another 30 minutes to an hour to market the deal properly to not only still make $2,000 on the front end, but make a percentage of the cash flow along the way and still keep half the profits on the back end. All right? And we struggle with that. Wholesalers, those wholesalers are on the call, you guys struggle with this the most because you're basically should be called the future broke. You're making other people rich by being a bird dog for them versus sticking to it. And I'm going to say something here. Wholesalers, if all you're doing is wholesalers, I don't mind wholesalers. A lot of people like dealing with wholesalers. That's fine because they're really their personal bitch. Pardon my French. But that's it. They're out finding deals for other people, and they're not serious enough to take it. That's great. Hey, yeah, go find me. I'm glad to give you $1,000 because I'm going to make $20,000 in the back end. I'm going to make $50,000 in the back end. Yeah, I'll give you $2,000. Go right ahead. You don't take the time. Continue to be financially educated on the deal. All right? Because most of us don't think, we don't use the 4 inches between our ears to work through the deal and realize this is a good deal. If I can give an investor a 40% ROI in the back end of what they invested in, and I'm going to still make that same amount, if not a couple grand more, why would I not want to stay involved in the deal? But you know what? I'm just going to worry about that. I just want to make my 2 grand now. I don't want to do anything. I want to be lazy. All right? And that's a shitty passion. Well, actually, that's a lack of passion. All right? It's a very lack of passion. All right? I don't let anybody try to deal with my passion. I have people that had on some people that were wanting to buy some deals. I'm like, right, here's what the price is. Oh, well, you know, I can't pay that. Well, that's fine. Well, I want to buy those deals. That's great. Well, what about if you drop them down at half price? I'm like, no, I'm not going to drop them at half price. My passion is work through these deals to close them. I'm not going to let you dictate. I'm not going to let what you want to happen dictate to what's going to happen in my business. And a lot of us don't have the ability to say that to other people. And you have to practice it. You start standing up for yourself on some. So how do we how do we build that focus? Well, be focused. Have a laser beam focus. Don't be changing 12 things. You got to know your markets. And your markets could be states. They could be cities. You got to know your strategies. I'll give you an example of laser beam focus. We've got some realtors actually here in Austin. I know quite a few here in Austin. And there's one lady here, Donna Harris, who's just a phenomenal realtor. All right? She knows she's very laser focused on her market out in Westlake. That's where she focuses on. She markets that website. I mean, she markets that area. She sends flyers. That's what she's focused on. She's done a good job with her marketing, but also the people around her, other realtors, will feed her stuff in that neck of the woods because she's the expert there. She knows their market. People that want to list a home know that they need to reach out to her because she knows their market. Okay? She knows her strategies. She knows her time frames. Okay? And in the note business, your strategies are going to vary depending on the asset and the situation, but you need to know which ways they're going to go. You got to know your time frames. We expect this to take 6 to 12 months. 6 to 12 months doesn't seem like a lot when you're thinking something's going to take 30 years for you to come to a resolution on. 30 years on a mortgage deal, right? You know, if it takes 18 months, okay, that's a little longer. I got a couple deals now that are dragging on a little bit longer, but that is what it is. It is what it is. We're still showing progress. We're still showing returns on investment. They're doing well, okay? This is probably one of the biggest things that that wholesalers struggle with, all right? They have the one strategy. They don't know multiple strategies. So they don't know how to work through the strategies. They also don't want to deal with any problems. They're scared to death because they don't have the money to write a check in case the AC needs to get fixed, or there's a rehab that needs something done, or if they you got to rip down the back wall to replace it. You got to know your problems before they arise in any type of business. All right, and what's going to happen? The reason I say you got to know your problems before they arise is when you're out talking to investors, they're going to ask you, well, what could go wrong with this? You say, well, you could go this, could go this. These are the things that could happen. But how we overcome that is by being offensive in nature versus defensive. Well, if this arises, if this should happen, we're going to use this to fix it. Or A, if the borrower decides that they don't want to do the loan mod, we're just going to foreclose. And that could take another $3 grand. All right? Or if they do a deed in lieu with us, we're going to make sure to get interior photos of the property before we give them any cash for keys. All right? The worst thing you can be is defensive, and we are all guilty of this, even myself. There's, when we have multiple different things going on sometimes it's you're just going to be defensive. Ah, crap, that happened. I got to go take care of that now. All right, versus, I should have gone ahead and ordered a home warranty on that to protect my property in case the AC goes out during the summer. I got the home warranty that'll cover replacing it. Okay? A lot of us don't have those offensive things in place so that we save money or save time on the back end. We're like, well, I don't want to pay that right now. I'll get around to it later. Well, that's fine. You're going to be reactive. You're going to be defensive in nature on the deal later on. Okay? Regardless, you have to be the expert or you have to hire experts. All right? Let me state this. A lot of us are familiar with Henry Ford, story of Henry Ford, right? What's Henry Ford's known for? Anybody? No. Actually, Yes, his name is on cars, but no, he's not Ford Products, not the automobile. That's exactly right, Rick, Mike, Joseph, Bill. That's exactly right. You got that right. The creator of the assembly line. He had a process. He built a process. Well, you're right about that, Darren. He hired smart people. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Is when anybody came into his office and asked him a question, he didn't know. He goes, you know what? I don't know. But hang on. Let me call the expert on that. Pick up his phone. Hey, can you get Steve up here to talk about that? Or can you get Lloyd up here? Can you get Bill up here? He had professionals. I don't know, but let me find out. Okay? And that's one of the things that a lot of us struggle with. We don't want to hire experts or have experts as vendors or experts around us. We want to try to do everything ourselves, and we struggle with that. Then something that comes to you, you're going to end up, honestly, that's going to be your biggest gap in your business. You can't be an expert in everything. You can't be an expert on closing deals. You can't be an expert on negotiations. You can't be an expert on raising capital. You got to focus on what your strengths are and outsource your weaknesses more than anything else. Or hire experts, people that are better than you to help you out with stuff. I can tell you that has become more of a message and a understanding of my business in the last 3 years than ever it was before. Got to hire experts to help you out with that. And every time I've done that, it's paid dividends in a good way. Anytime that I did not hire an expert, I lost dividends in a big way. All right? And some of you guys are like, well, Scott, why are you preaching to us tonight? It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Amen. Hallelujah. Let's go. All right? But all this stuff builds your expertise. It helps you build your confidence. It helps you build belief when you're dealing with investors. All right? You want to know how you build a sea of money, or a river of money that flows to you, of investors? You do these things. You develop these things in place. Okay? You learn more by your failures than your successes all day long, everybody. And a lot of us are scared to fail. All right? I'm not scared of failure. I am not scared of failure. I'm scared of not acting upon things and making things happen. All right? I'm not having a deal go south does not scare me. All right? I've been almost bankrupt before. All right? I know I can build things up if something happens. All right? And a lot of us are scared to be there. We're scared of the unknown. What is the analogy? Fear is the absence of reality. I should have probably written that out. Don't be scared of a little failure. Don't be scared of stubbing your toe. If you're scared of stubbing your toe, go do it. Go be BROKE at a JOB. All right? So share your story. And your story, as you share your story, your experiences, it's going to build rapport. If you share the good and the bad, it's going to build rapport with your database where more people will refer you. People will refer you for constantly things. How do you share your stories? Well, you do videos. You jump on social media, all right? You put blogs together, all right? It's your image that you portray. It's the branding that we talked about doing, all right? And that rolls across to your handouts, your marketing that you do. Some of you, I always laugh when I see handouts from people like, really? This is what you want to portray? This is the image you're looking to give? It's horrible, all right? And a lot of us don't want to spend time on this stuff because we want to dive into the deal. I love the deal aspect of it. Well, shit, if you're not going to tell your story, you may get a deal here, a deal there, a couple of deals here and there, but you're not going to be nearly as successful as you want to be, all right? You've got to have a uniform message, uniform brand across the different things to help you get successful, okay? And I'm going to give you an example here. This is my executive summary. All right? This is a handout. I get this printed up on colored paper, really nice, thick, glossy paper, and this is a handout we have at different things when I'm out speaking. All right? Or if I'm at a trade show or a vendor somewhere, we have this. This just talks about, hey, we're a Texas-based real estate investment firm specializes in buying non-performing notes. Yeah, we also have an education side. Here's a little bit about me, all right? But on the back side, I tell a bigger picture. I want to share my whole idea when I got started buying notes was to build a thing, a network, a community across the country to buy and sell assets together, to work with those people, and we've worked hard to do that. It was always funny. I did this little thing, and I was in Houston at the Lifestyles event, big event. And I had this flyer, and then here's the second page to it. All right, this is on the back of it. It shows just a couple pictures, same branding. I put these out, and this over here is front. Whoops. Okay. That's the front. That's the back. All right. And about 95% of the time, if we had this page out, if the pictures right here, page 2 showed first, you put these side by side. It's the same page. You just have a stack that's upright with the executive summary, while the other side with the pictures. The pictures got picked up first off. People grabbed that right away. They want to see what that was. What's those groups? What's those fun places? This is much more powerful than what this is, because you're like, well, tell me about this. What's this? All right. Well, this is a group of investors, a mastermind that we're part of, that helped me tell my story. Now, you all can do the same thing. Now, you're part of something bigger than just you. All right, my mastermind is getting together in 2 weeks in San Antonio. The last one we had in December in San Diego, I gave people that were coming to a mastermind an email template to send out and a photo from the previous mastermind to send out to their database. Right? Everybody that sent that out to their database, that email that I wrote for them, plus a photo, they raised capital. That could have been 20 grand, and some people raised all the way up to like $1.5 million in private money to buy some stuff with. Right? They sent that out. Those that didn't send an email out didn't raise anything. They weren't successful. And I asked a couple people, why didn't you send an email out? Well, I haven't closed the deal yet. Why? Who cares? You're part of a group. You're part of a bunch of other experts here that are going to help you. You don't have to be the lone wolf. Build your brand. Build your image that you're part of a group of buyers that are going to work together. You don't have to take the focus off of you, all right, and say, hey, I have a group of people that we work together. We buy assets. We get better discounts. We have fun doing this stuff together. People want to belong, all right? And most people don't do that. People will put something crappy together in executive summary and just leave it like it is. They won't put their face on something, all right? People love the experience. People love the group. You got to share but it's also, as you can see, it's also branded the same roughly. Yes. You all can do the same thing as well, all right? The same message across all my platforms, okay? Sole focus. Let me give you an example how I came across the note guy that you guys can do the same thing. I was doing a lot of video. I still do a lot of video. This will be a video as well on the website here. Doing a lot of educational stuff as far as making phone calls to banks, and I was talking about deals we were closing on, working on, and I shared those on YouTube. Even deals we didn't close on, I still said, well, here's a deal we were working on, and we didn't close on it because of this. Or it didn't work out because of this, this, and this. All right? People love that. So I started traveling. I went to San Antonio. I was in San Antonio one night working with an investor. We went to a meetup group and walked in. Somebody came up to me. It's a decent-sized group. I think there was like 75 people. They're like, oh, hey, you're that note guy, right? I see your videos online. Same thing the next night in Austin. Hey, you're the note guy, all right? I went to Anaheim next night. Somebody recognized me there. Hey, you're that note guy. Then I was down in San Diego the following night. Hey, you're that note guy. And I'm like, that's my image there. I'm the note guy. You know? But it was because I was solely focused. Here's the message. We're buying notes. We're buying this. This is what we're trying to do. I didn't do this stuff all at once. I didn't spend weeks doing it. It was building this up over time. Okay? I wasn't scared of what I'm doing. And there's people that I've talked to in the last few weeks, like, they're scared to share what they're doing. They're scared because my evil boss might find out that I'm doing something on the side, even though they already know that I'm an investor on the side. Like, really? Come on. What image is that? If you've got kids, what image is that? What message are you sending to your kids? It's not that you can do anything you want. It's, only do a little bit, but when somebody finds it, it's okay to be scared. Hide what you do. You don't want anybody to find out. You know, you got to be proud. The passion that I portray comes across. People like that. You all can do the same thing. The more passionate about your deals, you're going to grow your tribe. You're going to grow the people around you. The people that were namesayers are either going to exit themselves or they're going to become fans and become your biggest cheerleaders. All right? Do the same thing. Do the same thing. Share what's going on in your business because, A, it will help you raise capital, and I'll get to some more things in a second on ways that you get the message out, okay? But it's going to support you. Back in 2007, 2008, this is what I said to myself. It was time for me to stop supporting somebody else's dreams and start working on mine, making mine come true. How many of you guys on the call are still working for somebody that you dislike, or you're not committed 100% to what you're focused on? You're scared. You take a job making $100 versus doing something that can make you $1,000 an hour. I chose to stop supporting someone else's dream and start working on making mine come true. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to say something. If you're working a job you enjoy, you love it, that's fine. That's completely fine. That's fine. But I guarantee there's plenty of people out there that are taking a job. It's Sunday night. How many of you guys that are working have a knot in your stomach from having to go to work the next day? Having to go to work tomorrow? Having to show up and clock in? And I'll give you an example. I was married once. Now, I've been divorced now about as long as I was married. I was married to Carrie for about 7 years. We're together almost 10. And Carrie's a wonderful woman. Big heart, worked with autistic children, but she was scared of life. She was an introvert, obviously. I was an extrovert. People say that the opposites attract. This was definitely a case. But great girl. She worked in this autism clinic here in Austin, Texas, making like $30,000 a year. And I'm like, Carrie, you could go out and do your own private practice and make double to triple that, and people would pay you. Oh no, I'm fine. I'm safe in where I'm at right now. But she would get sick all the time. She'd get bit. She got sick constantly because, especially the kids are often sick a lot because their immune systems aren't up. But it was funny. She would be exhausted Friday night. Saturday, she'd be her normal, fun-loving self. And then come Sunday, about noon, she would start to withdraw and start to get sick again. She suffered from ulcers. She would give herself ulcers from stressing about stuff. And I wished her well. I think she's moved on, married again, and good for her. I've moved on. I wish her well, but I can tell we worked together. Actually, she was able. One of the proudest moments of my marriage was when she quit her job. She quit her job and started working with me, and that was a proud moment. I was like, well, if you're wanting to quit, you're gonna give what, a month? No, she goes, yeah, I'll probably give 2 months notice. And then like 3 days later, she goes, no, I just went and quit. That's a good moment. How many of you guys have spouses that are working for somebody that they don't want to do that? You're out working your butt off trying to make things happen, and your spouse is having to go. They're supporting you by going to work every day. Don't you want to give them that? Well, isn't it time you start acting professional and start to spend a little bit more time on your business? Because I guarantee for every hour you spend on your business, you will get exponential growth out of it. With people loving what you do, people sharing what you do, the expertise. It's the intangible dollar, the intangible image that you will portray by spending a little bit of time on your business. Okay? Instead of spending time on something else, you do it. So where do you begin? Well, how do you get there? How do you really get to where you want to be? You got to be focused. All right? Start with a list of everything you're doing. All right? Think of everything you spend your time on. What did you spend your time on the last 30 days? Well, I did this, and I did this, and I did this. You'll often find it's a hodgepodge of things. Now, some of us have kids. I don't have kids, but some of us have kids, and so you've got to be responsible with kids. I get that. So you guys are going to have more time to do things. But a lot of us like, oh, I went out drinking. Or I went out and went to the movies this night. What did you do? Tell me, what did you do with your day? From 8 in the morning to 9, 10 o'clock at night. Are you hustling as much as you could be? Or are you sluffing? Are you lollygagging? All right? I have friends that want to do this business in the note business. They come to me, I really want to work with you. I want to work for you. I'm like, no, I don't want you as an employee. I wouldn't hire you. Because you're lazy. You're not focused. Don't get me wrong. There's every times I slough off. Everybody sloughs off. Trust me. Crap. One of my biggest pains with what I do is traveling so much. I hate freaking travel. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the hotels. I enjoy the fun places I go. Trust me, baseball season's not too far away. It'll be fun on that aspect. But I literally hate getting on the plane, and I hate traveling. That's why we're tweaking things, doing away with some stuff here come after June. I'm not going to be mentoring anymore after June. I'm going to stop mentoring. I'm going to still have my mastermind group, but I'm really changing up the way we do business. All right? I'm going to focus on the things I want to focus on. All right? I am very focused on my note business, don't get me wrong. I'm very focused on mentoring people, but it's the point where now I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to mentor anymore. We've got a couple more classes we'll teach, and then we'll get rid of the mentoring. We'll offer the mastermind up. We'll offer up some other things in place, but I want to get more focused. I want to narrow my focus down to other things. All right? So I've been going through and doing the same exercise myself. What did I spend my time on? Was that efficient? Was that not efficient? Did it make money? All right? You have to focus on your income-generating activities more than anything else. If you have more activities that are non-income generating, you need to get rid of those activities. You still want to do something for fun. I'm not saying date night. Get rid of date night. All right, or anything like that. Go and spend time with your grandkids. I get that. Everybody's got a different number. But if you're hungry and you're struggling, you're not getting where you're doing, what are you spending your time on? Okay? When I got started, I was out raising funds. I was wholesaling. I was working short sales. I was doing a little bit of the note business. I was out mentoring for somebody else. I had to focus on what was going to be the most income-producing activities. What was going to make me the most amount of money and focus on? And that's what I did with notes. I stopped doing everything else. All right? I outsourced what I had. I had some rentals. Great. I'm not going to handle this. I had some short sales. I outsourced this to a friend to negotiate, and I focused on one thing and I outsourced the rest. All right? Because if you're focused on a multitude of things, you're never going to have the type of success that you want to have. All right? Can you stop asking questions, Dimitri? You're not on target. Your questions need to be focused on what we're talking about now. Dimitri, you could drop me an email with those questions, but just quit asking questions regarding something that's not on there. All right? You have to focus on one thing or outsource the rest, everybody. If you don't, okay, if you're working a job and some of us have to pay bills, I get that. I totally understand. I totally respect that. You're still probably only working 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week. Trust me, successful entrepreneurs don't work just 40 hours a week. We work a whole lot more. Heck, I'm in here on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening working right now. Trying to make you guys successful. I've grown to really love the Monday calls because it gives me a time to be very, very focused with you guys. Everybody that's not part of my mentoring or my mastermind group. All right? And so that's why I did it Sunday night versus Monday. Well, Monday, this time tomorrow, I'll be on a plane. I'll be flying into Chicago. I already be set up at the hotel. I should be in Chicago already. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is if you've got a 40-hour job, what are you doing with the other time? Are you spending it running to the movies? Are you going out to eat? Are you spending it drinking with friends? Or going out for the weekend? What are you doing with your time? It took me 4 hours to do my yard work this week. Really? Why don't you take the $200 and give that to some kid down the street, and you spend that 4 hours working on your business, working on your marketing? Okay? Now, some of you look at real estate as a hobby, and if that's the case, that's completely fine. Whatever you do, whatever you're happy is, great. But I know some of you want this to be your main business. You want to be a real estate investor and that be your main business. So what are you doing other times? Does Domino's Pizza go out and steaks? No. Does Saltgrass Steakhouse sell pizzas? No. They're very focused on what they do. Does, let me give another example. Does Starbucks, well, they've got, I wouldn't say sell food, but they got some crappy food in there. But you get what I'm saying. They're focused on their one product. They were focused on Starbucks before they started bringing on ancillary products. Okay? I have my workshop. A workshop that we teach is a good ancillary thing that goes along with the deals because we had to teach people how to buy notes. Nobody knew how to buy notes. I went out when it was a Ralph Waldo Emerson. I went out and carved my own path. Because what we do now didn't exist back in 2008. The idea of buying a one-off note or small pool of notes was non-existent back then. All right? I learned how to do it. I was focused on it. I knew I could do it, and I made it happen. You don't have to go through this, 60 days and not closing on a deal and wondering, oh my God, am I going to get booted from my place? Is power going to get turned off? Maybe some of you guys are there right now. It's probably because you're not focused. Probably all across the board. It's a hobby. You're treating it more of a hobby when you should treat it more as a business. All right? And what I find funny is there are people that this is a hobby to them, but they treat it like a business, so they're 10 hours a week or 5 hours a week, and they're successful. But those that really need it to be a business for them, they're acting like it's a hobby. And they're wasting their time doing something else. Okay? Either way, whatever your avenue is or whatever, how much you devote to it, start acting like a professional. And I know this sounds more motivational when I'm talking about this. All is very key with you raising capital. All right? So, it's going to take time for you to build some of the stuff. It's going to take you time to market some of the stuff. I get that. But there are things in place to help out. As I always say, Rome wasn't built in a day. This is going to happen overnight. You've got to take some time to do it. All right? But that's why I say, what are you spending your time on? Are you spend time wasting time doing else? Look, I understand, hey, I want to spend time coaching my kids or doing this when they're young. I'm like, oh, my God. Your kids would rather appreciate the vacation that you're able to give them versus you being there every day. You know what? I take that back. I'm wrong. Let me detract that. I don't have kids, so I can't preach about having kids when I don't have kids. I can tell you, though, that a lot of us want something to build something. My mom, love my mom. My mom and my dad owned a local hardware store in Ingleside, Texas, and they worked their asses off on it. All right, they worked hard. I got my mom's hard work ethic. That's one of the things that I got from them. And I was in there a lot of times on the weekends working with them, but it wasn't doing what they needed to do. It wasn't paying the bills. It wasn't doing what they needed to do. So Mom actually went back to school to become an RN. She became a nurse, and I remember her being gone. She started when I was a freshman, sophomore in high school. I remember being gone at night. I can remember her missing football games and basketball games and baseball games because she was in class. She had to work those nights. Okay. Never held it against her. I still don't. She did a great thing doing that. She helped pay for bills. She put things on the table for us. Dad was there a lot. Dad had the hardware store he ran, and then he eventually closed that in his own craft store. As his health deteriorated, he was there. But he still did the things that he did. He treated his hobby as his business at that point. He had a hobby in the hardware store. It was at night going in and building wood crafts and wood swings and wood decorations for yards and things like that. That was a hobby he did to help make extra money to help pay the bills besides his business. All right? And when they closed the hardware store down when I was a senior in high school, he turned his hobby into a business, very successful business. And Mom didn't have to work so hard being a nurse. So you have to all figure that, though. Some of us have to go back to school in ourselves. Some of us have to quit thinking we know everything and start investing more into our marketing, our social media. Oh, I don't know that social media. I don't have one of those pages. Well, freaking get online and start looking at it. What are some of the things that you see people post that you like, and you replicate the same thing? And do that over and over and over and over. All right? Maybe you join a mastermind group. Maybe you're a mastermind with people. That's one of the beautiful things I love about my Note Mastermind is we spend the first day going on business development. Who is doing some things that they really liked? Who are doing some things that are working well for them? What's some things that you're doing that aren't working for you that you want to share with a group? All right? I'm a part of other mastermind groups myself. I just joined another group, a very expensive group. Okay? $25,000 a year. I'm going to be around people. There's 100 people max total in it. So I'm going to be around that group on a quarterly basis to learn things, not only to better my business, but to help my other masterminds better themselves. All right? Conferences are a great place if you don't want to join a mastermind group or don't have the money to join a mastermind group. I mean, heck, you can create a mastermind group by just inviting people around your local area you respect and get together for lunch once a week. I got a buddy, Kurt Malley, that's what he did. He started a group here in Austin with the real estate professionals. He invited some of the most successful real estate entrepreneurs for lunch together. And they get together at this Mexican restaurant. It's got a buffet. It's like $10. There's 20 people total. They get together. Used to get together once every 2 weeks and once a week. They moved up to network. And their business all expanded because they worked together. If you don't know people in that area, go to a conference. All right? That's part of the reason that we're helping put on the Noteworthy Convention on the East Coast, is for you guys to get a chance to network with other investors that are in your same line of work, people that you can work with. What I love about the note industry is most people work together. It's a very giving community. Unlike traditional fix and flips or REO guys or things like that, especially cutthroat realtors, Most people don't share. I'm not going to share my source. I don't get my deal flow. There's plenty to go around in the note business. All right? That's why I say, Slash, you're an investor. I'm like, hey, have you gone to a Noteworthy convention? Have you gone to a note summit or anything like that? No, I haven't. Why not? Well, I don't want to share my stuff. Well, are you making as much money as you'd like to? No. Well, that's the problem. You don't know everything. I mean, in the last month, I've been to 2 things that I've gone to that I've learned stuff that were well worth what I paid to be there. Immediately yield benefits on, like in the first half hour. I'm like, oh my God, that thing I learned at Traffic Conversion about pixels, that was worth the money to be there. The hotels, the time, and then bam, at Secret Knock on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when most people are at work, bam, what I learned there in the first day helped my business out dramatically to get out, to expand my wealth by A, attracting investors that I want to work with, or B, expanding my brand and image. Okay? Once you start laying the groundwork for that, now you haven't put the cart before the horse. You've got the horse before the cart. You're ready for success at that point. Okay? That makes sense, everybody? All right. So the question is finding the investors. Now that you've got your image, you're working to do things, you're ready for investors. All right? You've got to put some stuff in place. You've got to start building this stuff in place. If you're a flaky person, go do something else. Don't waste my time. Don't waste others' time. Okay? You're going to have to, as you develop this stuff, you're going to have your warm market first and foremost be your best way to raise capital. People that like and trust you, people that have seen you put this work in place, they're going to be very proud to work with you. They're going to be happy to work with you. All right? Unfortunately, most of us are scared to send an email out to our group. Okay? Most of us go to events, conferences, and we collect business cards, but we never send an email out to them. Honestly, I would say less than 5% of people send an email out to their database on a regular basis. Now, the 5% that sends it out, it's a parental rule. That 5% are the most successful people out there doing things because they communicate on a regular basis. They can suck at their social media stuff, but as long as they communicate once a week via email or once every 2 weeks via email, they're going to have success because they still get the message out to their warm market. People they went to workshops with. All right? So many people have business cards, stack of business cards at home in a shoebox or on their dresser. That's all it's doing is collecting dust. All right? Or keeping it that 2-inch by 3-inch square on your dresser from collecting any dust. All right? People don't send emails out on a regular basis. They're scared to send an email out something professional. And I'm not talking using your Gmail or Yahoo to send an email out. You need to act a little professional. Send it out via like a CRM tool like MailChimp or Infusionsoft or Constant Contact. Okay? Share your and other people's successes. If you haven't done a deal yet, ask somebody for a deal. One of the things that people that come to my workshops and my mentoring are like, hey, do you have any deals I can send out? I'm like, yeah, here's a couple sample deals for you to send out. Use these. Send them out. Okay? But what I always crack them about is people will send one email out, and that's about it. They send it out, okay, I did that. I don't ever have to do that again. I'm like, no. You do it, so you do it again and again and again and again. You rinse and repeat. You rinse and repeat. You rinse and repeat. You rinse and repeat. You see what worked well, what they liked, what they clicked on, and then you do more of it. Or, hey, that didn't work. That idea didn't work very well, so let me change the title and what I put on my emails. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Okay? What most people fail to understand is that 80% of sales is made after the 5th contact. 5th contact. 80%. So, if you haven't sent 5 emails out to your database, and you're wondering why you're not getting any success, any people that want to work with you, nobody's biting, it's because you haven't done enough. Simple. Oh, Scott, that doesn't work. You're so lying. I sent an email out and nobody responded. Okay. When did you send it out? Well, I sent it out Saturday night at 5 o'clock. Well, are most people at home Saturday night at 5 o'clock? No. Well, yeah, they missed your email. Oh, I sent it out at Friday at 5 o'clock. Well, are people there at their work at Friday at 5, or are they gone on the way home? Well, on the way home. Well, yeah, they're not going to read your email. Rinse and repeat your marketing. Understand the marketing flows. Heck, read Marketing 101 online, all right? So many people give up at their first no. No, you can't do this. No, I'm not interested. Oh, 10 no's. I'm always amazed people call me. I was calling banks to buy some notes, guys. I was buying them direct, but they all told me no, so I stopped doing it. You're a liar. It doesn't work. Really? How many did you call? Well, I called 9. I called 10. Really? You called 10 banks. How long did it take you? 30 minutes. So you put 30 minutes into an idea and then gave up after you got no's. Really? Glad you don't work with me. I don't want you to work with me. If you're going to give up after your first no, go do something else. Go get a job. Trust me, to get plenty of investors along the way, you're going to have to get some no's before you get any yeses. Okay? Most people are lazy, wimpy, and don't deserve success. Most people are lazy, wimpy, and don't deserve success. Okay? They've got this sense of entitlement, and all that does is guarantee failure. Oh, I deserve this. Why do you deserve it? Why? Because. Well, because why? Because of me. I'm me. I'm good looking. Okay, great. Awesome. Is that going to help you? Did your good looks ever close on a deal? No. Okay, great. I'm going to tell you a funny story. I had somebody the other night email me, and I'm a big guy, and I am working on my health, working out, eating healthy, all that good stuff. But I'm a big guy. I had somebody call me and tell me that somebody was talking derogatory about my weight. And I kind of just chuckled. I'm like, really? That's fine. You can make fun of my weight or whatever. Call me Shrek. Call me the Stay Puft Marshmallow. I don't give a rat's ass. I will outwork your butt, and I'll make more money, and that's fine. And I'll pay for me to go stay a week at Fiji and have experts take care of me, help me get my plan underway. I pay my trainer. I always laugh at people that will be the first one to throw darts because they're usually the most unhappiest and unsuccessful people out there, the most jealous of people. All right? You don't laugh at somebody, you don't laugh at a fat guy or a fat person in the gym because they're out there busting their butt. And a lot of people, unfortunately, and a lot of us on the call here are not, our business is not in the shape. It's fat weight in our businesses. We're not as lean and mean. We have a lot of sidetrack stuff that we do. All right? Unfortunately, my mom and dad taught me to have a good palate. Unfortunately, though, that puts a little bit of weight on when you travel as much as I do. It's okay. Whoopie-doo. I know my stuff, though. If somebody doesn't want to work with me because I'm a few pounds over, that's fine. I don't want to work with you anyway. I'm about business here. All right? I'm about business, getting things done. I'm not lazy. I'm not wimpy. I know I sure as hell don't. I know I sure as hell deserve success, but I deserve the success for me working hard and not taking no for an answer. Because all no means, everybody, is not right now. No means not right now, except in a sexual nature. In that case, no means no. But you get what I'm saying. All right? A lot of us are scared to death. We're lazy. I don't want to put the work in. Okay, that's great. If you don't want to put the work in, that's fine. Write me a check for it. Okay? And this is where the self-directed IRA clients fall. If you've sent out to your warm market, and they like what you're doing and supporting stuff, the next phase after you've done some emails out to your warm market is to reach out to self-directed IRA investors. All right? And this may be what some of you guys have been waiting for the last hour for me to get to. All right? Why self-directed IRA investors? Well, we often find self-directed IRA investors that people have gone to real estate education workshops. They understand that's why they've got one. All right? These are people that you want to work with because they understand. They've gone to workshops. They've taken workshops. They understand the power of it. But A, they either don't want to write the check. I mean, they would rather write a check, but they lack the motivation to pull the trigger. They may lack the confidence to pull the trigger. They may still have a job, but they've got money sitting in an IRA they need to do something with. So they're motivated to invest it and get their 101k back to a 401k. They may not have the time or the deal sources that you do. And that's the beautiful thing. If you've got the time that you're putting in, you're focused on this stuff and you're finding deals, your deals are more valuable than their actual money. That's why most people would gladly write a check and joint venture with you because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to reach out to servicers. They don't want to talk with the homeowners. They don't want to come up with the exit strategies. Just give me a return. I'm lazy. Now, self-directed IRA investors are often smart because they understand that, and you don't have to spend so much time educating them on stuff, which is what you don't want to do. You don't want to spend time teaching them. You want to deal with somebody, hey, give me your money, and we'll make it happen. Okay? And what's great is also IRA investors. You can find them at public events like Quest has events all the time. Equity Trust is a big conference once a year. Cayman Plan on the East Coast has different things. IRA Services has an event on the West Coast. Okay? You can also go to public records to find IRA investors. Okay? And I'll cover that in a minute. The beautiful thing is when you're reaching out and talking to IRA investors, you've got to have something that's going to separate you from everybody else. And trust me, there are plenty of people out there talking deals, but they don't have any marketing. They don't have a media presence online on social media. They don't have blogs. They don't have videos. They don't have an executive summary. They don't have their business plan in place. And you have to think about it. If you're sitting down and an investor is going to write a check with you or Joe Blow, how do you set yourself apart? Do you have your executive summary? Do you know your business? Do you know your markets? I don't care if you haven't done deals. Do you have a group that you're working with? Do you have some sample deals of what you expect and what you're looking for? That will sell you business right there. That will help close the deal without you having to do anything. Okay? And then all you have to do is rinse and repeat that. Show your deals. Show your experience. Show your business. Show that you're organized. All right? And the IRA investors will follow. Okay? So let's look at some examples. All right? So I'm going to kind of do it. You can find IRA investors at the county clerk of the recording office. Now, this is going to require you to do some work. This will require you to do a mailer out. This will require you to reach out to these people. All right? You can also go to the county assessor's office to find stuff. So let's go through here and show you some examples here. So I'm in Austin, so I'm just going to pull up Travis County. So if I go to the Travis County clerk, all right, you go to the county clerk or county recorder's website of whatever county you're looking to invest in, and you go, where is it here? Search recorded documents online. Official public records is often what it's called. Okay, you click on there, it takes you over here. There we go, official public records, and I've got that actually pulled up right here already. And it takes you to the grantor's full last name or full name, document type, the date, instrument number, a lot of stuff you're not going to know. This is just a county recorder's office. So what we're going to do is do this. Just say Quest. Quest is an IRA company. Grantor, grantee. We're going to say warranty deed. Or we'll just do deed. And do a search, let's say, from January 1st this year to Friday. And hit submit search. Whoop, I must have typed it in the wrong way. And this is just checking for Travis County, all right? So let's hit submit search. Come on. Let's do this. Oh, there's data. I just pulled this freaking search. Let's do this. Equity. And let's do this. Let's take the deeds out. It's running now. And what we're looking here for, when we're doing the county recorder search, we're looking for documents that have been filed with the county recorder's office, okay? All right, so we got one there. Equity Trust, January 15th in this one county. So there we go, Equity Trust Company. All right, it's a transfer. So let's do this. Let's just take this out further. Let's go, instead of January, let's make January 14. There we go. Hit submit search. January of last year to March of this year. Now we got a few more. All right. Equity Trust, same thing on the transfer. So maybe we need to type in a little bit different because maybe we say Quest IRA. Let's hit search. Okay, I know stuff's in there. I just run these freaking numbers on this stuff. Is that my luck, right? Let's do warranty deed. Probably work better. There we go. Goofball here. You're exactly right, Rick. Thank you very much. I've put them in both there before and it's pulled them up. So anyway, here you go. Now you start seeing here. Equity Trust. There's 34 in there. And then one search. Just one Equity Trust company. All right. Now, the nice thing is Carter Brock over here. Let's go up here to the top so it's a little bit easier. So let's go. Click on it. Let's click on this little instrument number here. And the borrower is Raphael Wilder, and the person that lent the money is David Blakely. All right? So as you pull up an image here. Give it a second to pull up. Come on. Oh, come on. All right. You can see right here, Equity Trust Company, FBO, David Blakely, IRA. So David Blakely is the person here you want to talk about, right? So David Blakely's got an IRA here. All right, so we flip over here. They got an IRA. They've lent money to Raphael Wilder. Okay, so what I like to do next, go to whitepages.com. Let's do David Blakely. Search. There you go. I've got, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 phone numbers for David Blakely. And his address. Could I not pick up the phone and give him a phone call and say, hi, Mr. Blakely, my name is Scott Carson. I came across your information online. It looks like you did a deal with your IRA account. Are you looking for more deals by any chance? Can I not send a letter out to him with some deal samples of what we've done with my executive summary? Yeah, completely could. I've done that. All right? It helps. It builds, I mean, I guarantee, trust me, there are people sending stuff out to them already. But if you send something here locally or something out to them, and they're somebody you meet with and actually identify you the face, I guarantee they're going to show a little bit of interest. All right? And you can do this just about every county across America like this. Okay? That's one way to do it. You go back down here and literally search, hang on, go back here, public records, to all these people down here and do the same exact thing. Click on, let's look at this one, Equity Trust. All right, grantee, grantor. So this one here, he said for the benefit of account number, they didn't post the person's name. Okay, so they didn't post the person's name, but they get the borrower who they, all right, the person that was borrowing the money. So let's go back here and change it up. Maybe you don't do it that one. Let's look at who Francis Hester is. There's David Blakely again. All right. David's sending some money out and that stuff. Maybe I need to talk to them. All right. Hopefully you're getting what I'm saying here. Does that make sense, everybody? That's one way to find investors. All right, good. Now, the other way to find IRA investors is you can go to the Travis County Appraisal District or your county appraisal district and do a property search. If you click on property search, that takes you over here to looking for the owner's name. And if I type in Equity Trust, this is people that the county appraisal district is where properties are actually named, not, and there's Scott Carson's name, but if I had an IRA that owned it, it would be under, say, Equity Trust or Quest IRA for the benefit of Scott Carson. So let's just look at, see how many people own real estate in their IRA. Now look at this. Bam! Look at all this real estate. All right? 137 for year 2015. So let's click on this one. Storm Drive, or let's do Rio Grande here. And you know that these are going to be investment properties, everybody, because they can't live in their, they can't subside in a property owned by their IRA, right, everybody? So look at Edward Wenzel IRA, and he lives out in Marble Falls. Marble Falls is a retirement community out here. So there you go. There's a property. It's a condo on the West Campus, 2804 Rio Grande Street, number 307. And Edward L. Wenzel and his actual mailing address. There you go. So let's do this. Edward Wenzel, so we can't find a phone number for Edward. Did I spell that right? Edward Wenzel. Yep. And let's say Marble Falls, Texas. Okay. Let's do this. There you go. Edwin, maybe is it? No, Edward L. Wenzel. Oh, I got to log in here. Give me more information. But anyway, I think you get what I'm seeing. There's Edward L. Go back here and do these for the rest of these here. Let's go back here. Let's find a different one. Here's one. 2005 Pyramid. Paul Millsap IRA, 7 Tiburon Court. Paul Millsap. Was in Georgetown. Is that Paul B? And now at Georgetown, Texas, kind of retirement community out that neck of the woods. Phone number and a mailing address. Okay? That makes sense, everybody? Now, those are two ways. You can go to a different county clerk or the recording office to do that. The county assessor's website by searching basically by the self-directed IRA name. Now, the reason I could have gone through this information very quickly in the front end, and I've seen people that will send one letter out or they'll send like something out and they'll never do anything because they've not invested in their business on the front end. They're shooting themselves in the foot. It's like literally going back to that river, diving into that river, trying to catch fish with your bare hand. It's not going to happen. It's such a rarity, and a lot of us will sometimes catch a fish. And yeah, can it happen from time to time? Yeah, it can happen from time to time and catch a fish. But you're constantly going out there and catch the fish versus being smart and setting a trout line. Your trout line, figuratively, is your marketing. Your marketing will catch more investors than you trying to catch things with your bare hands. Okay? Use whitepages.com. I showed you to help find phone numbers and addresses. Spokio will do the same thing. No, Tim, it's not going to show your email. It's not going to show email addresses because they're not listing their emails. This is stuff you're going to have to do by literally picking the phone or dropping a letter in the mail. Okay? Maybe you can find these people online. Actually, I got an idea here. Let's try something here. This is what, Paul Millsap? Let's look, Paul B. Millsap. Sometimes, let's do this. Let's go to LinkedIn. Maybe he'll have a LinkedIn profile. No, that's not it. But you get what I'm saying. If you search on here and cross-reference it, hey, if I want, let's say this was the Paul Millsap that I wanted to talk with. All right, great. So then I connect with him. If he connects back with me, I now have an email address. Now, I could drop him an email in here as well. Hey, came across your, are you the Paul Millsap lives in Marble Falls, Texas? Came across your information online. Didn't know if you'd be interested in possibly joint venturing on a deal. Okay? That's right. You're right, John. Spokey will sometimes show an email address. Okay? It'll help you out with that. But you got to realize, let's go back here. Oh, Millsap. I typed in the name wrong. Should be 2 L's. Not Millsaps. Maybe senior program manager at Microsoft. Maybe it's him. No. Paul Millsap Real Estate, The Hills. That actually is probably it right there. Hang on here. That would make sense. 7 Tiburon Court right there. Okay. There you go. Phone number, and you know he's in real estate then. 7 Tiburon Court. So there you go. There's a great person you reach out to right then and there. Does that make sense? No, I'm sure it's not Ronnie Millsap there, Chad. All right? But you can all do the same thing. Getting there. Those are the people that are going to fall in that first category you talked about, everybody. All right, maybe he's got more than $1 million net worth. Maybe you do land a whale there. But you're landing plenty of people by going through that list that's going to be there. But the idea is, if you don't do the stuff we talked about earlier, you don't put that stuff together, you're going to not stand out from the crowd. People will not take you seriously. Okay? Any questions? You can go out and buy investor leads at $5 to $10 a lead if you want to. I had a company today, Thursday, sent me an email. They were like, oh, we track exotic car purchases. Like exotic car purchases. Yeah, anybody that buys a Porsche or a Lamborghini, things like that, we get their information, and they seem to be a good contact for investors. I'm like, okay, what do they cost? I'm like, well, $5 a lead. I'm like, $5 a lead. I'm like, wow. Actually, I'm like, okay, really? I'm like, yeah, we give you their phone number, email address. If they fail out, we'll replace 2 for 1. I'm like, okay, that's an idea. But still, if I don't have something to show them, if I don't have experience, if I don't have my business plan, my executive summary in place, nobody's going to work with me. Now, if you've done a lot of real estate deals in the past or done some deals in the past, you can use that experience to help you find investors for buying notes or something that's different than what you've done in the past. You have to realize you've got to put this stuff in, though. If you don't do this, nobody's going to work with you. It doesn't matter how good the deal is. If you don't know how to express it and how to share that, and get the word out, nobody's going to do business with you. You might as well stick doing whatever you're doing, running all over. You'd be surprised. I get people that come to me all the time. They're like, hey, we want to work with you, Scott. I'm like, okay, great. Yeah, I want to work. I want you to pay me. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do, but I want you to pay me. I'm like, really? Or I can show up and notarize things. Or I had a lady in Anaheim get upset because she's like, I want to work for you. I'm a notary. I'm like, well, okay, that's great, but my VP of operations, Stephanie Goodman, is a notary herself. No offense. I'm not going to pay for somebody to come halfway across town when I got them in the chair right next to me here. I appreciate that. You know, you want to do some really value, pick up the phone, start calling banks. Pick up the phone, start doing it. If I have to feed you, I would rather train. If I have to teach you exactly everything I have to do, I'd rather train people that I can pay or train my own staff to do things and do it. And I'm always amazed. People don't want to pull. I'm like, why don't you go do this yourself? It doesn't cost you anything to go pull a list of banks. I'm sorry, it costs $150 to your lane guide. What I just showed you cost you nothing. The county records, county assessor's websites does not cost. In some states or counties, they make you pay a fee to get on there to print anything, but it doesn't cost. So would you rather do this stuff that's available to you, or do you want to spend $5 to $10 per lead? If you haven't done the things I've told you to do already, you're wasting money. You're burning money. You're wasting your time. And the several hundred people that register for this call, let me see who's on the call here. Let's see who's on the call. I know they're busy. He's doing something weird. They're doing something. He's full-time. Yep, that's why he's successful. Part-time. Successful. Successful. Very successful. Successful at work, but transferring to do something else, but I know they're putting the time in. Not successful. Jack of all trades, trying to do 12 things at once. 2 things, full-time job here, but then spend the time like, oh, I'm going through it while he's, and I see people that want to be successful, but they're not doing the little things to get things done. Somebody's successful, but they're letting their boss dictate what they do online, you know? So, you guys, if I sound jaded a little bit, I probably am a little bit. Because this is the topic of raising private capital is always one of the most successful webinars we do whenever we do one like this. And it's the same people that are on. And when I talk to people, even my people in my mentoring, I'm like, okay, go do this, do this, do this. And they don't do any of it. And they call me up like, hey, I need some money. I got a deal I got to close. Well, have you done this and this? Yeah. Well, let's see it. Well, no, I haven't done that. I haven't updated my LinkedIn profile. I haven't sent an email out to my database. And I'm like, why am I going to give you one of my investors when you are not dedicated enough online? So what's important to you? Keep working at your job and let opportunity pass you by? Or is it time for you to start standing up for yourself to do something? I don't know. I can't answer that question. You all have to make your own decisions. But if you're not going to even do the little things of updating your social media profiles because you're scared your boss is going to find out online and they already know that you're doing real estate? Oh, they're already unhappy that I do that. Are they paying you a 401k retire? No. Then tell them to screw off. What I do in my spare time is my stuff, not yours. And ladies and gentlemen, you all have balls. Some of you guys have very small balls. Ladies, you have balls that are just up a little bit higher. And it's time that you start doing the things you do to make yourself successful versus making somebody else successful. We will spend 40 hours a week for 25 years making somebody else happy so that maybe we get a gold watch and have 5 years of happiness. Screw that. The time for you to start having success and living the life is today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not till when I wait till I retire, not wait till I raise some capital. It's right stinking now. And I'm going off that I don't have this prepared. I'm just fired up. I'm sick and tired of hearing people give me excuses why they can't succeed. Excuse after excuse after excuse. Failure after failure. Oh, you didn't do well at that. Welcome to real world. You've got to spend some time. You've got to put some investment in with it. Maybe you don't have to put dollars in, but you've got to put some investment in. It doesn't cost anything for you to update your profiles. It doesn't cost you anything to send an email out. You're in business. If you want stuff coming to you and you don't put any work in, expect to pay a premium. I was in I was in New Jersey a few weeks ago, actually, for a note conference out there in New Jersey. A couple hundred people in there. And there's a group in there that's part of a group online, a Facebook group, and people bitch about paying for classes or paying about mentorship, and then these are the same people that bitch that the deals are too expensive because they're buying one off. They want to be hand-fed good deals, and I'm sick of it. I am sick of that, oh, woe is me, I'm entitled attitude. You know, it's funny. Now, I've got some people, too, that have worked their butt off. There's a gentleman that's a Houston, couple guys that are part from the Houston Police Department. These guys are just awesome. Just absolutely work. And I'm very proud of that they've put in time. They've done something they enjoy, but it's time for them to get out of it. They're tired. But they've done a good job of doing the right things. They've saved money. They've got money saved. They've got some a nice nest egg. They don't have to be 40 hours a week. Heck, I hope they don't do 40 hours a week. They're doing this because it is more of a hobby. It's for something to do enjoyable so they can spend more time with their grandkids. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a good thing. Yeah, maybe they're a little scared. Maybe they need a little help on the social media side. I get that. I can respect that. But they will put the work in. They will do what they need to do. What's funny is people that aren't willing to put the work in. Some people are so lazy. This is why I'm glad to comp military guys in and first responders and past and present military guys. Because those people, those guys and gals will put the work in. They understand they got to put some work in. If you've never failed, you're never going to succeed. And what I love about military is they don't take no for an answer. They'll find a way. We'll get it done. I wasn't in the military, but I probably would have been very good at it. I probably would have gotten court-martialed, though. I've probably been, because I just don't take orders so well sometimes. But I'm coachable. And if you want to raise capital and you want to be successful in this market, you've got to put the investment in to do the things on the front end. And I wanted to do a raising capital one a couple weeks ago, and I really sat back and thought about it. And I said, no, I've got to spend the time like I have the last couple of weeks talking about branding, talking about marketing, because that stuff feeds into this. This all feeds into raising capital, everybody. It all feeds into raising capital. Get a brand yourself. If you're not going to do those little things, go do something else. Now, if you've got money, you just want to invest money, that's fine. If you're going to, I got a phone call from somebody this week, like, Scott, I don't think I've got the time to put this in. I'd rather just write a check and invest. I'm like, that's fine. That's fair. No harm, no foul. If you're going to be honest enough with me on that, that's fine. We'll get it taken care of. We'll help you get your money invested. We'll still make it a win-win for you. That's not a problem. But don't tell me you're going to do something and start on something and have a little bit of trouble or get too sidetracked with other things, to be honest. Too sidetracked to do on things. I had a teacher email me this last week. I don't know. I don't have the time for this. I've been in this for a couple months. I just don't have the time. You know, my kids that were supposed to help me out, they're working too. And I'm like, really? So you knew this when you signed up. We sat down and we talked about this. We talked about how you need to dedicate some time, and that actually the fact that you get off a little bit earlier in the day is beneficial. That you as a team are going to have to pull together to help things, right? And they're like, yes. But between now and then, they've given up. And I'm like, really? What kind of message does that send kids that you're teaching with? Do you take excuses from children in your schools that, oh, they had extracurricular activities, I had to practice, I had to go to the gym, I didn't have time for my homework? No, you work on shit. You work late to get your homework done if you're at practice for 3 hours. All right? You have to do the smart things to get things done. You've got to manage your time. And a lot of us don't manage your time. If you don't manage your time well, you're not going to close deals, you're not going to raise funds, you're not going to talk to people to get things done. So go do something else. All right? But if you want to get things done, if you really want to be successful in real estate and the no business, there's two things for you to do. One, and this is not a sales pitch, it may sound like it, hey, come to a workshop. We got a workshop in Chicago in a few months. We've got one in Miami in May. We got another one in June in Baltimore. All right? Fly out to New Jersey for the Noteworthy Convention upcoming. Trust me, the $249 for the ticket is me the small price for what you'll learn to take away from that. the chance to network with several hundred investors that are all dedicated and working towards the same thing as you are. That's invaluable. Those things don't come along very often. So, any other questions here? I guess I'm preached out on a Sunday night. I guess Mom would be proud. Okay, good question. Rashid asked a question here. Whoop, hang on here. How's the best way to send it? Okay, Rashid, if you've got somebody who's giving you a business card or they've opted into your LinkedIn profile, they've technically opted in. Just send the email out to be a MailChimp. If you got a bunch of business cards that you haven't touched to in a while, you may want to send those in a separate email. You just need to send an email. Just send a freaking email out, because if they connected in on LinkedIn, you can say in the email, hey, we are connected on LinkedIn together. And that will help solve that. All right? Al, you're going to have to listen to the freaking, I'm not going to sit here and summarize it. You have to step away. All right? You just need to listen to the webinar on it. It's going to be literally uploaded here online. I got a workshop in Baltimore in June, actually the 25th to the 28th. Chad has what I meant about Baltimore. So I guess there's no other questions, though. Any other questions about stuff we discussed in? All right. Well, if there's any questions, there is the dates for the Chicago workshop that's coming up. I will actually be in Chicago starting tomorrow through next Saturday. If you're in Chicago, in the Chicago area for St. Patrick's Day, come meet me out at the Chicagoland Real Estate Investment Club in Oak Brook. I'll be speaking there in front of several hundred investors on the 3 F's of note buying, and then I'll also be teaching a half-day kind of intro workshop on Saturday the 21st at the Hilton Garden Inn O'Hara Airport. It's that little half-day, 4-hour intro to notes half-day workshop. So if you're interested, feel free to email me, and I'll forward you out that information and hopefully see you there. All right. Other than that, we do have the Note Mastermind in San Antonio. The following week, the 23rd through the 27th. I'm excited about that. Spend time with the Mastermind students that are rock and roll. We'll be getting some assets in, and we'll be spending good quality 5 days working through deals in each of the businesses. My Mastermind is the highlight of my year with the 3. All right. Yes, it is. This call is recorded. It will be uploaded on Vimeo here as soon as we wrap up and we end up converting it out. All right. All right. Hang on here. The workshops are $9.99, so it's good 2 for 1. It's a special. But most importantly, guys, if you're really interested in something, the next event's going to be literally Noteworthy East Coast in Newark, New Jersey. I think there's people in Chicago. It's like a 2-hour flight, $167 flight ticket. The room block is like $139 a night at the Hilton Garden Inn, Penn Station. We've got a direct link in a room block that's still good for a little while. So if there's no other questions, we'll wrap it up, and I'll let you guys go. It's hard to believe it. We talked for 2 hours on this stuff. Wow. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good evening, and have a very safe St. Patrick's Day if you guys are out having fun, and have a green beer on me.